Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
We're beautiful people.
We
Just
are.
like the that song, you know?
Never heard of it.
Okay.
Can before we start, can we talk about how perfect of a guest I am for this episode? Because you say no one likes tennis. I just got done shooting a video where I opened packs of tennis trading cards because I fucking love tennis.
Amazing.
It is my favorite sport. I love it so much.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, when we get to that, you'll have to explain to me tennis.
It's so much fun.
What do you do? Yeah.
It's great.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Hypecast. It's the show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I am one of your co-hosts, David Bell. Tom is dead?
Tom is me now this week. I'm Tom now.
You're Tom. Adam Todd Brown.
Adam Tom Brown.
Tom Brown, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
How you doing? Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's been a long time, but
It's been too long. Too long.
I've been very distracted the past few months. We talked about it before we recorded.
I understand. Yeah. It seemed like you're distracted, but I'm glad you're not distracted anymore. It's great to see you.
Good to see you.
I miss going to your studio and hanging.
Here's the thing. If you want to take a drive, we have a pretty fancy new studio. It's in San Pedro, but it's a whole thing. Me and Jeff record there all the time.
All right. Well, yeah, put me in. Put me in, coach.
It's a date.
Speaking of your studio, why don't you tell people what you got going on just at the start of this? Little pluggy plugs, stick it inside of everybody.
Well, I don't know if people know, but if you know me from the Unpopular Opinion podcast, there is no more Unpopular Opinion podcast. We just changed the name, though. It's called You Don't Even Like This Show. And the name of the network is now the You Don't Even Like Podcasts Network.
Beautiful.
But other than that, we're still doing all the same stuff. Conspiracy, the show, pretty scary. We got a new show called True Crime Sucks, where we just talk shit about true crime documentaries. It's good times.
Oh, my God. That's such a good show idea.
We'll have to get
Holy
you on
shit.
it sometime. It's very fun.
For sure. I've seen a few. True crime, man, not to go on a tangent, but it feels like there was The Jinx, and then there was a series of shows trying to chase that high. You know what I mean? And it's like you're never going to get a confession on your show again.
Yeah.
So they're all like, they're pretty flaccid. You know what I mean? Like they're all trying to be shocking, but they're,
The Jinx and Making a Murderer. Those are the two that really changed things. I would argue for the worse. But
yeah, it's always the good things, or like like Blair Witch Project, very interesting, unique movie that then spawned a bunch of crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, did you see that? This wasn't that bad. I don't want to shit all over it, but that Sasquatch one that was like just about like white supremacists in the Pacific Northwest, but they framed it around Sasquatch.
Oh, the documentary. Yeah.
Stuff like that, where it feels like they can't just like they can't just do a thing anymore, because that was one where it's like the thing they're talking about is interesting, but it has nothing really to do with Sasquatch. So it's like a weird dynamic. I don't know.
They're all too long. A lot of true crime documentaries are way too long now, and I hate that. I hate it a lot.
Yeah, they stretch it out. Well, thank you so much for being on. I hope you're good and hyped.
I am so hyped to cast.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah, because this is Hypecast. It's right there in the name.
Shit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Go figure.
And we're going to talk about trailers. We got some fun trailers. We were actually gone last week. So this is, we're back at it. We're back at it, baby. Or at least I am. Tom's dead. And so we got some producers.
Tom. Jeez.
R.I.P., yeah. We got some producers to thank. Starting with at Nerd Numbers, thank you very much. Thank you to Zero Charisma. Thank you to Aaron Burser. Thank you to AJ. Thank you to Andrew Howe, Deck the Halls with Blood. Thank you to Asking Seven. Thank you to Burrito Wants You to Drink Water, Hit the Gym, and Do the Ska, because they loves you all. Gotta do the ska. Pick it up. Thank you to Bob Grenville. Thank you very much.
Hey, also, thank you to Bootler Bootlisten.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Brian, who Tom knows.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, but I don't believe you. Brockway loves the meat, Millie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chester's Prophet. Hey, thanks.
Thanks.
Christopher Robert Sparts Esquire. If that is your real name, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thank you. Davey, the Ghost of East Las Vegas, Francis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And David Knife Boot Henson.
Knife Boot.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Never forget where you heard Knife Boot first.
Of course.
Wasn't that on Best? That was Best Bad Movie Ever, like Roadhouse, right?
Yes, it was. Never forget your roots. Never forget.
Knife Boot.
Knife Boot. It's a good weapon. Or actually, it's a bad weapon, I guess.
It's a terrible weapon.
Yeah, it's a very ineffective weapon. And Adam, thank you for helping out with the producers.
Yeah, of course.
So let's you want to talk about some trailers? We got some trailers here.
I sure do.
We got this Sony. I think this is Marvel.
Is it?
I don't know. This is Kraven the Hunter. I was expecting Tom to be here, so I'm going to go ahead and Google Kraven the Hunter to figure out what it is. It looks like it's some sort of comic book character.
Is it? It gave
Marvel.
me John Wick vibes.
Right. Yeah, it's a Marvel character. His power seems to just be that he beats people up because he got lion blood in him. Did I get that?
Lion blood? How'd that happen?
Well, he was hunting a lion. He shot it as a child.
And then what?
Then his dad, the Pope's exorcist, because it's Russell Crowe doing the exact same accent in the Pope's exorcist, leaves him for dead. Is just like, that kid sucks because he got mauled by a lion. Did I get that correctly? Is that what happened in this trailer?
It kind of seemed like that. Yeah.
And then the lion bleeds into him. And I guess that's how you get lion powers.
Yeah, it just like bled into an open wound. Does the lion's blood like proliferate and spread from there? Or do you just does it just take one drop to turn you into a Russell Crowe lion?
I feel like if that was the case, there would be so many like British explorers who would have figured that out, right? Because I mean, they used to snort mummies. Like, of course they drink lion blood. Like, the British would, they were monsters. So, like, I don't know. There's got to be more to it than that. But this trailer really seems to make it out to be.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be mad if I got mauled by a lion too. I might, if I still had the ability, I might go out into the world and kick some ass.
Yeah. I mean, if I was hunting the lion first and got mauled, it would just be like, well, that's, what happens. But it's he's I don't know. It looks gory for a Marvel. It looks like it's got some blood, but like PG-13 blood. Like it's not going all the way.
So this is a Marvel thing. We confirmed that.
It's Sony Marvel. So if you recall, like Sony has some of Marvel properties.
Yeah.
Well, and so they did the Spider-Mans, they did Venom, they did Morbius. They've had a really good track record with non-Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
And this is I assume in the Spider-Man universe, because they reference Rhino, who's the Spider-Man villain.
Oh,
So they're going for that. I think that's the Spider-Man Rhino. I assume it'd be weird if there's more than one Rhino. Is this anything you're into? You a big Marvel head?
I am the opposite of a big Marvel head. I'm kind of checked out on Marvel these days.
Yeah.
There's just so much of it.
It hasn't been great.
Yeah, the last Marvel thing I remember really liking, it might have been Endgame. Like, It's been a long time since I watched a Marvel movie. And for one thing, it's been a long time since I watched a Marvel movie. But the last time I watched one and remember being like, fuck yeah, that was great, I think it was Endgame.
Endgame was great. They should have ended everything there. That seemed like a good ending spot. It really wrapped up the 10 years.
Yeah, I said that on another pod. I don't even remember what one, but that would have been perfect. Just end it with that. They would have gone out on such a high. Would have been perfect.
And I think it would have been more memorable. Like, I think as they keep going, I think they're going to kind of drown out Endgame a little bit. And my prediction, and I could be wrong, I'm often wrong, but I think when the dust settles, like 50 years from now, it's going to probably be Guardians and the Spider-Mans is what remains. That's my guess, because those are the ones that are more self-contained and, stand out. Did you see the Spider-Verse ones, the cartoons?
I saw the first one, and I did not like it nearly as much as everyone else liked it.
My hot take is that it is so visually spectacular that people don't notice that the script isn't that good. It's not bad. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's amazing. I think the visuals are incredible, though, for sure.
Yeah. I think I know a guy who wrote on. Oh yeah,
no, they have, and a lot of they have ex comedy internet people. It's not on the writers. It's the it's the machine of it all. I've seen point out the last Spider-Man, the live action one, filled with amazing jokes, is still structurally,
right.
It's so many masters that they're trying to please.
One of the things that I find distracting about the Spider-Verse movies now is I was a big fan of the Wu-Tang show that was on FX.
Ooh.
And it's, I would argue, one of the best TV shows of the last few years. It is phenomenal. But Shameik Moore plays Raekwon the chef. And he plays Raekwon the chef because they look a lot alike and their voices are identical. Huh. So when I saw the new Spider-Verse trailer, I was like, oh, it's the Wu-Tang guy is Spider-Man now. I will always hear a Wu-Tang rapper when I hear Shameik Moore's voice.
That's pretty fun. That's a fun way to watch it.
Yeah.
I think, if you get a chance to watch the new one, you should. You'll see there's a fundamental problem. It's not an entire movie. They did, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Because we're technically talking about Kraven the Hunter. Which has spiders in it. I don't know why there's spiders in this. I'll see this just for Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I like Russell Crowe a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably prompt me to watch this.
I like how Brando he's getting. He's feeling very Brando, and that tickles me. But I don't know if this is one where it's I'm not mad at this. This looks what I do like about it is it feels like more of a Captain America, where it's he's just he just kicks ass. You said John Wick at the start of this, where it's his power is that he's just really good at fighting people. And I don't know, that could be a really good stunt movie, I like that he's just murdering people.
Did you see Russell Crowe's Road Rage movie?
Was it Unhinged? Is that what it was
Something
called?
like that.
That was it was a real good Russell Crowe.
It was Unhinged is what it was.
It was.
It was pretty great.
Remember the ad where he just threatens you to see the movie?
Yeah.
They were really playing up the Russell Crowe-ness of the film.
Yeah. That was great.
All right. Everybody check out Unhinged.
Yeah.
Next trailer. This is called Three Body Problem. This is coming out on Netflix. This is Benioff and Weiss.
What have they done before?
They've done the Games of Thrones.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you see the conundrum here. You see the pickle. Because I don't know about you, I thought this looked intriguing, but I think if you start a really popular show and then bail at the last couple seasons and like fuck up the landing, I don't think people should watch your next show. I think out of principle, it's just like you have to prove you can finish stuff first.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Game of Thrones fan. I stuck with it for the first couple seasons, and then I don't know. Everyone just looks alike and sounds alike.
Yeah, they're all a bunch of honkies.
Yeah, it was really hard to follow. And yeah, now that I know this is essentially a Game of Thrones production. I mean, I know it's not related to Game of Thrones, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. Yeah, like that's the thing. I enjoyed Game of Thrones all right, not as much as other people. I started late. I almost stopped watching it when magic showed up in it. I didn't know there was magic in Game of Thrones. And it takes like a couple seasons. And when that happened, I was like, I don't know. But it was fine. There's some really good episodes and stuff, but it definitely fucked up the ending. And it was,
Yeah, I didn't see the last season, but when I found out what that Hodor shit was about, I was like, oh, come on.
Right. The problem with the TV shows, it's kind of like when you play like a bad video game where it's like video games take so long to play. And so when a TV show is good and then disappoints at the last minute, this is what makes me mad about mystery boxes, right? Is it's a time investment that you're trusting them to pay you back for that time. Yeah. And if at the end they screw you over, you're like, you took all my time. Like I watched this whole thing. A bad movie is 2 hours. But like if a TV show is compelling and then they haven't thought of a way to end it, that's just so like, yeah, after Game of Thrones, it's just like, I don't know, finish that show. Go back and finish that show before you make a new show. Cause I just don't have much trust for these creators. That said, I don't know.
Yeah, this looks interesting. Are you watching From at all?
No, I've heard good things.
Oh,
I have a lot of shows to watch.
I mean, it's kind of related in that From is from a lot of the people who made Lost.
Oh,
and the vibe I get, like what I love about From is, it feels like if the people who made Lost got to go back and make Lost again and
but like better
address all the problems, like how do you introduce new characters? They figure it out on From, and it's brilliant the way they do it. It's a really, really, really good show.
That's nice to hear, because Lost is, of course, one of those shows where I was like, give me back my time, please. I would like my time back. And so, like, I sort of need someone to say this actually does a good job. Like that's one of those shows. And so is this one where it's like if someone watches the show and reports back and is like, no, it's good. It's actually good. But even then, the scary part is like the ending because Game of Thrones was good until it wasn't. So
right. Yeah, that's the thing. Any show can be like, it's hard to stick that landing.
Yeah, I'm really like Severance. Did you watch Severance?
Yep.
That's one where when it ended, I said, "Oh, I don't think I can do this," because it gave me those vibes of like I feel like I'm going to watch you for 6 years and you're going to disappoint me. Where it's like I get really touchy when I smell a red flag just a little bit. Where it's like, you don't know how this is going to end, do you? You're going to keep making these cliffhangers. You're going to keep like teasing things. That shit drives me nuts. So like,
in that way, I am interested to see where From goes, because it's just season 2 now, and it's interesting.
Yeah. No, I need to learn to trust again, and From might be a good.
Dave,
version
you've been hurt. We understand.
I've been hurt. Yeah. Now I'm just watching Deep Space Nine on a loop because it's safe. But yeah, this looks good. This looks fine.
Yeah,
Body
I'll
Pop.
probably...
I'm not sure why it's called that. No, we barely talked about it. It's one of those trailers where I couldn't even describe what it's about.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like it's got compelling visuals, but I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, it's got like a Cloud Atlas feel, where it's like I don't even know when this takes place. It's based off a book, but so is Game of Thrones.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up what it's about, and it's just there's
that title doesn't do much for you. But I mean,
apparently Three Body Problem has to do with quantum mechanics, so it's going to be like time travel or some shit.
Okay.
It's 1960s China. Let's see.
Good
a fateful
time to be in
decision
China.
1960s China echoes across space and time to a group of scientists in the present, forcing them to face humanity's greatest threat. That really doesn't explain what it's about.
No. Is it? What if it's a Godzilla movie? I mean, that's Japan, but still.
I'd watch that, yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yeah. All right. Next trailer, then. This is for Dumb Money. This is the inevitable GameStop stock internet story. It looks like it's really trying to be an Adam McKay film, at least in the advertisements, where I was like, I had to look it up. But it's actually the director of I, Tonya, who is, for the most part, a very good director. Or at least I, Tonya was... Did you see that movie?
Yeah, I liked I, Tonya a lot. And yeah, you have in the notes that their styles kind of overlap, and I would agree with that. I, Tonya felt like an Adam McKay movie, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't want to say better because I don't want to compare him, but yeah, Greg Gillespie did I, Tonya, and also did Lars and the Real Girl, did The Finest Hour, did Pam and Tommy, if you've seen Pam and Tommy.
I have not, but after watching Fresh, that made me want to watch Pam and Tommy, and I still have not, but Sebastian Stan plays Tommy, and I'm a Sebastian Stan.
Yeah. This director also did Cruella, so
I liked Cruella a lot.
You did? Okay,
yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, Cruella was really good. It was shockingly good.
Nice. All right. All I heard was that her mom is killed by Dalmatians or something, which seemed very silly.
They're a very mean breed. It's a notoriously mean breed of dog.
Terrible dogs. I do love Cruella just being like, well, actually, Dalmatians are trash animals. But yeah, that's all to say that this is the type of movie that in other situation might piss me off. But the people involved in it make me want to see it. I think this might be a good movie.
I'm a sucker for stuff like this. Like, I loved the Blackberry movie a whole lot.
Really?
Yeah. I like Blackberry takes about 10-15 minutes to get going, but once it does, it's very enjoyable.
Wow.
I thought.
I'm glad you're on, because we have been coming down hard on those types of movies.
Really?
Yeah, I personally, because like the Flamin' Hot one, these like weird corporate PR movies that like feel like they're about like Air, where it's like, how did this product get made? And I feel like I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, I liked Air. Are you including the Tetris movie in that? Because the Tetris movie that story is really interesting, and they leave the whole part where there's like a third guy who was involved in the creation of Tetris, who was almost certainly murdered by the Russian mob in Northern California, but the police ruled it a murder-suicide. And that all gets left out of the Tetris movie.
See, but there is a bummer.
Yeah, there's a documentary about it.
That's like
maybe we should cover it.
Yeah, the Flamin' Hot thing is also based off an untrue story.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It a lot of the time it feels like PR. This doesn't, because this isn't like... it doesn't feel like it's about GameStop and how good it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's going to glorify GameStop as a company or anything like that.
It's also got fucking Paul Dano, fucking Pete Davidson, Seth Rogen, Sebastian Stan's in there, Nick Offerman, and so it's just Vincent D'Onofrio's in there. So it's got a hell of a cast. So
I'm into it. Yeah,
I'm into this for sure.
I feel like Flamin' Hot doesn't even belong. Like, I get that there's kind of the same category of movie, but for one thing, we know that story is made up now. And out of curiosity, I tried to watch that movie, and it is the cheesiest thing I've ever seen.
Really?
I made it maybe 15 minutes in. There's all this, like, feel-good voiceover stuff where he's just, like, explaining his life in the beginning, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Flamin' Hot Cheetos aren't even that good.
Yeah, I agree. I think what it is that, and I know I've said this before, Air, for example, it's Batfleck. It's the Baffles directing. He's a good director. I like him as a director. A lot of in these cases, I don't think the movies are like individually bad.
Yeah.
It's just the trend of like, the brand movies are just, they wear me down so much. The concept of them, and they'll be good ones, but there'll also be some really like, gross ones. So in general, I'm just like, I don't like supporting this premise.
Yeah.
Because I think most of the time it's just, I don't know. We've gotten way too like brand centric already, that they don't need to be like the hero of a movie either, or treated with reverence.
Is this Facebook's fault, like so many other things in the world, because of the social network?
I think it's Facebook's fault. I also think because social network is one, and you go back and you watch and you're like, oh yeah, this isn't glorifying it at all. And Jobs, I actually think it's Apple's fault.
Yeah. Did Jobs come out first?
I don't know if Jobs came out first, but what I do know is Steve Jobs and his story was genuinely worth telling, because he did revolutionize a lot of things. Like, he invented technology, or not him, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Like the iPhone, Apple in that era, like it makes sense. Like this was big inventions that's worth talking about. But like Flamin' Hot Cheetos, it's not that, right?
No.
I think it's that combined with Marvel creating a like the fact that like movie genres have now been reduced to brands more than they've been reduced to genres, and the idea that we will like root for brands now. People are Marvel fans. People are so like it's. I think it's that combination of things that made it so that like there's this trend of like, yeah, we can do these like brand movies.
But I think by that metric where, Jobs did interesting stuff and had his story like it deserved to be told, I would argue BlackBerry and Air both fall under that, because Air seems like it's just about shoes, but it's really about a moment that like empowered athletes, and especially black athletes, in a way they never had been before.
Right.
And with BlackBerry, you get to see like a lot of that movie is about how Apple fucking destroyed BlackBerry, which is like kind of an interesting story.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
if
like,
there's an
Flamin'
interesting
Hot
story to
doesn't-
tell.
Flamin' Hot doesn't need to exist. I would argue maybe even the Tetris movie doesn't need to exist, but also when we're talking like Apple and Nike and then Tetris, like I don't put Tetris on the same level as like evil corporations
Right.
that don't deserve my attention, I guess.
But then you get stuff like that upcoming Madden one, the Madden game movie. It's about the Madden game.
Okay, no.
Yeah, and it's Will Ferrell and it's fucking David O. Russell, who is a monster.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are we fucking doing? Like, that's the thing. Again, going back to like Blair Witch Project, good start. sets off a very lazy trend. So, like, yeah, I do think individually a lot of these movies will be good. It's just the trend itself is just repellent for me right now. So
Yeah.
I think when the smoke settles, there'll be movies that will stand out from it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Well, let's move on to this one, Challengers, which is a sexy tennis movie.
It is. Dave, I love tennis so much. It, over the past couple years, has emerged as my absolute favorite sport. I
Really?
watch tennis all the goddamn time. It's always on. I love it so much. I can
Wow.
even tell you Challengers is a reference to like the minor leagues of tennis, which is where you have major tournaments, masters tournaments, and then challengers tournaments. And that's what this is a reference to.
Okay, I believe you. I still think it should be called ball play because it's double. It's about a three-way, and it's about tennis. This is the director of the Suspiria remake. Who also did Bones and All?
Oh, see, well, now I'm split because I fucking loved Bones and All, and I hated the Suspiria remake.
I think the Suspiria remake is one of the most useless remakes ever made. I haven't seen Bones and All.
Pointless.
But I will say, I don't think it's badly directed. I just am like, why would you do that? Why would you
Yeah,
remake Suspiria?
You haven't
Yeah.
seen Bones and All?
Not yet. I will. It looks
man.
very good.
It's real good.
Yeah. But this, I mean, as I was saying in the notes, I find sports movies generally, I'm just not into them. And this one is like, yes, it's a tennis movie, but it's sexy. It's like a sexy thriller. It's about a tennis player who has some sort of three-way with two friends and then marries one of them when she's older. And it seems to be more about like that aspect of it, but also tennis.
And this is a series, right?
Oh, I think it's I don't know.
Or
I
is
think
it a
it's
movie?
It's got just a writer-director. It's, what's her name? Zendaya?
Zendaya. Yeah.
As the main, and she's great. We love her.
She's awesome.
And then like a couple honkies play the other guys.
Yeah, the other tennis players.
It looks like, yeah, it says only in theaters. So it's a movie. Yeah.
So, yeah, as much as I love tennis, I'm going to wait for this to be streaming.
Okay. I'll see this in theaters. I want to see like three ways on the big screen.
Yeah, I mean, I like that aspect. I don't know. It's movies. It's been a while since there's been a movie I wanted to see in theaters, but I want to go to theaters. So
I understand that.
maybe I'll go see Challengers. I do fuck with tennis so hard.
Yeah,
But
I got
I
a
feel
theater
like this
now,
is
like-
going to be like not as much about the tennis.
Yeah, it's more about the ball play.
Yeah.
It's more about that aspect. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It looks interesting. I'm like a minute away from a theater, so it's like real
have
easy for
one.
me to see stuff. Yeah.
I am, but also it's a small theater, so they don't get everything. Like this might not even come to the theater across from my office.
Right. Yeah, I have a Regal, and let me tell you, Regals aren't very good. I want to vote or root for the little guy, but they have one of the most annoying intro ads right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're also generally like they have Regal Unlimited, which is their version of the AMC, but it still like costs a little money to see a movie, and it is like, well, it's like a dollar every time, and it's like, can this be free? What am I paying for? And they're just generally like everything about them is just generally like less good, except their pizzas. Their pizzas
really?
are better. Yep. They give you a full fucking pizza, like a plate, like a big fucking, like for like $6. Like they're like, let's be honest, it's flour and cheese. It costs 50 cents. We'll give it to you for $6. So that's the one thing that's good about them.
Yeah, I have a Cinemark across from my office.
The best seat in town, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at it. Like, in terms of like trailers and things, sometimes you just sit in 5 minutes of darkness and then the movie starts.
Yes.
And I don't know if I prefer that or hate that. It's unsettling not knowing if the movie's actually going to start because there's nothing else playing. But also, if you ask them for extra cheese on your nachos, they're not going to give you any guff. They're not going to give you a cup. They're going to lard that shit on to your nachos. And I love that.
Yeah, I worked for 2 years at a Cinemark. It was a fun job. Good theaters. I think Cinemark's the best, like the good in between. Where it's like an AMC, it's just like sometimes it's really fucking annoying, especially to see like a Marvel movie where it's just filled with just fucking dipshits. Whereas a Regal feels like Dead Mall, like a Dead Mall location. Cinemark's right in between. So yeah, maybe I'll go see some ball play at the Cinemark.
Come down, record at the studio, and then ball play at Cinemark.
Yeah, sounds good. Next trailer. This is for the long-awaited Futurama season 11, coming to Hulu, which is like their third home.
Yeah, they could probably just hang it up.
Wait, hold on. They start at Fox, right?
Yes.
And then they went to Comedy Central.
Right.
And did they go anywhere besides Hulu after that?
I stopped following, so I'm not sure.
You know Futurama? You not into it?
I liked it in its day, but it feels like it's kind of run its course a little bit.
I did a podcast, or I do a podcast with going through Futurama episodes, and I will say I still like the later season stuff. I do think, I mean, they've ended the show like 5 times, and they've had better series finales than others. At this point, I'm just like, more Futurama. I'm down with it. I think this is par for the course. Like that, people probably cringed. There's some COVID jokes in this and some crypto, but that is what they've always done. They've always had like topical episodes, and those episodes have always been like, kind of mid. They're always trying to do the emotional episodes, those emotional highs, and I feel like they haven't really accomplished that in a while. But I, you know, it's Simpsons writers, classic Simpsons writers still, I think, and there's always a level of enjoyment I have with Futurama, so I will watch all of this.
Yeah, I like The Simpsons too. I just like really fell off at one point.
Oh yeah, Simpsons for sure.
I just I don't know if I'll ever be back.
Yeah, Futurama I think has done better than The Simpsons. I don't blame anybody for being like, I'm done with these shows, you know, because we now nothing ends with this stuff, right? Simpsons, Lord knows what season they're on. I haven't watched them since season, I don't know, 8 or 9.
Yeah, they got to be past 30, right?
They got to be. And then, like, man, like Family Guy's still going. And it's like, who's watching that? You know?
34 seasons of The Simpsons, Dave.
Jesus.
That's too much.
It's too much. I did hear it had like a reinvention. But I watched a couple new episodes a couple years ago, and it was all right. You know, like, that's the thing is, I think some of it's getting older, too, where it's like, when am I going to sit and watch this stuff? But
yeah. I'm that way with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, I fell off around the time I moved to L.A., and I understand it's such a good show still.
Yeah.
But the amount I have to watch to catch up is so intimidating.
Yes,
like,
agreed.
Oof.
I'm the same, where it's like I watched the first like 5 seasons. It was very good. And then I sort of, it's attention span. Like, it has nothing to do with the shows a lot of the time. It's like Rick and Morty, I stopped watching after like 3 seasons before all the Justin Roiland stuff. Yeah. And that was just because I was just like, I just got tired. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. Because I think when it's like these, you know, half-hour comedies where they don't really link a full story together, there's no incentive to watch the next one because of the story, right? And so after a while, you're like, I get it. I get it. It's very good. Maybe I'll go back and watch it again. Or like South Park is the same. And I don't know if it's me or the show, you know?
Yeah, I think we've kind of had that programmed out of us by like streaming services and the way streaming shows work. Like there aren't really any shows like that anymore where the episodes don't link together because they want you to sit on your couch and watch an entire season in a day.
I wonder if that is a part of it, which is like when I was a kid, Friday night, you pop on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
You watch The Simpsons to warm up. That's like you're getting in the mood. You're jerking it, and then you like make some food. Come back for the X-Files, and there was always like you got like a little half-hour show, and you got your big show, and then you got like Strange Luck in between, which you don't need to watch, but it's there, and like I feel like that's part of it, which is like these weekly half-hour shows. It's hard to keep up because you don't have that in your ritual. I'll still watch like Bob's Burgers, but that's one where it's like, sometimes I'll let those accumulate and then watch a bunch,
I've never watched Bob's Burgers, but I think about it once every 2 or 3 weeks just because at one point Netflix recommended that I watch Bob's Burgers based on the fact that I watched a true crime show called Ice Cold Killers.
Oh yeah, similar, very similar. That's very weird.
It was like maybe I should watch Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, it's real dark shit.
About?
But yeah, I'm obligated to watch this new Futurama, and I think I'll enjoy it. I'll binge it all, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have yet to be sick of Futurama, so I can always watch more. Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that. I don't have anything against Futurama. I just
for sure. I would argue
went back.
Their newer seasons, they still have very strong episodes. So like it's I'm still all for it. Next trailer. This is for Priscilla. This is very, very clearly a Sofia Coppola film. Nothing against that. But it's like I was watching the trailer and I was like, oh, this is Sofia Coppola. It absolutely is. And sure enough, it's Priscilla Presley. I don't know, a little biopic, one assumes.
Right. Yeah, I like a biopic. I think Priscilla Presley is an interesting story, for sure.
Yeah.
I loved Elvis. The movie.
I still haven't seen it.
I don't know. Like if you go into it with any preconceived notions about Elvis, it will probably change them a little bit. It's really good. Tom Hanks is so bad in it, and that's so refreshing.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was bad on purpose. Like I think he didn't want to distract from Austin Butler and his
That's interesting
performance, but Elvis is great, and I'm interested to hear Priscilla's story. There was that did you ever see the TV movie?
No.
I think it was called Elvis and Me, but it was about his relationship with Priscilla, and it's actually very good. It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will check that out. Yeah, I think this is more compelling, in my opinion, than doing something on Elvis, and I think that's only just because it's Elvis, like it's like we've done tons of Elvis stuff. So like Priscilla's story, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's fucking interesting. And so I'm pretty excited for this. I dropped off of Sofia Coppola, and it's kind of nothing against her. I just didn't catch her last couple movies for whatever reason.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But I've always kind of liked the stuff she does. I like her style. It's she's part of that fucking Spike Jonze like 2000s real like hipster shit. But honestly, I think I don't know. I like it. I slop it up. So it's weird, honestly, that I haven't seen. Like I think the last thing I saw was Marie Antoinette, which was I liked it.
I didn't even see that. Yeah. I don't remember the last Sofia Coppola movie I saw.
It's probably lost in translation then.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it would probably be lost in translation. And even then I was like, did Spike Jonze direct that? It's like, no, she was just married to Spike Jonze, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Priscilla, that's an interesting angle for the Elvis story, which reminds me that the rock biopic I want to see the most in the world is Meg White. I want to see what was going on with Meg White within the White Stripes.
Sure.
That is such a bizarre story. The way they broke up, I still want to know if that sex tape was really her. There's so many questions about Meg White.
See,
they
I don't
broke
know
up.
much about this.
I had about the White Stripes or about
Yeah.
just
I
any
never
of
really
it?
listened. I watched a few of their music videos, but that's about it.
Well, when they first came out, they had this like origin story that they were brother and sister, and they like dressed the same and all this crazy shit. But then it came out that they were actually formerly married, and they were like not brother and sister. They were a divorced married couple.
That seems weird.
And Meg White, very famously, is not like the most technically proficient drummer. And it's because Jack White wanted his drummer to like recreate the feel of a person just playing guitar while stomping their foot on the ground for percussion. So he like purposely wanted a bad drummer in the White Stripes. And that whole dynamic has always been so fascinating to me. And that's the fucking rock movie I want.
Oh, that's amazing. There's a lot of that happens. Or at least a handful of punk bands that's had crises like that where they've played for like 20 years and they've gotten too good at their instruments, and they're like No Effects did an album where they just wrote the songs and performed them only once for the album, and they're all like 30-second to a minute songs, and that was the idea, where they're like, we're too good at our instruments, we need to like make ourselves shittier. So like yeah, that's very funny. Yeah, that would be a fascinating story if we had the right information. Cool. All right, we got a couple more trailers, including the best one. But first we have Drive Away Dolls. This is Ethan Coen, but not Joel Coen. This is I don't know, have they done separate films
Yeah,
before?
I was going to say, is there a rift? What's going on?
I know that they've been starting to do separate films. I don't know what the juicy details are. It's weird because I love me some Coen brothers, but I've never really like dug into who they are.
Yeah.
Maybe because I don't care. It's weird. It's weird to care. I don't know. But this is Ethan Coen co-writing with Trisha Cook, who is their editor. She edited like The Big Lebowski and Barton Fink and a lot of Oh Brother Where Art Thou and so on. This is like, it's interesting because the Coen brothers, I think it's safe to say they have two types of films. They have serious and silly.
Right.
And this is a silly one. And now that makes me wonder, like, is like Ethan Coen like the silly one? Is that how that worked? Was like one of them a goofball and one of them was like really serious? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
Was he... I mean, I fuck with the Coen brothers, so I'm going to see this.
Yeah.
For sure. I did not know they were doing separate movies. I also have not probably seen a Coen brothers movie super recently.
They don't put them out that recently either.
Yeah.
I think Buster Scruggs, was that the last one they did? I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like I saw that, but don't remember it that well. But yeah, I mean, this looks good. I'll check it out.
Yeah. So I'm looking into. Okay, this is interesting. It looks like the interviews. I'm just going through them. It looks like they literally were just like, let's take a break from each other. That's it. Like, I don't think there's a reason. I think they're literally just like, maybe they have some projects that they're like, neither of them were interested in the other's projects or something, but they're basically just like, we've worked together for so fucking long.
Yeah, it's
that
understandable.
After 30 years, we're switching it up, you know. And they're saying we'll probably make another movie together in the future. And it seems like they're both at different paces, is what I'm reading here.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, nothing dramatic. Yeah, and I think did Joel go and do the Macbeth movie, or am I making that up?
I believe you're right. Yeah.
So he's doing all serious. Is that?
Yeah. So maybe they just wanted to do their own shit.
Yeah, I did the tragedy of Macbeth. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe I'm saying something that people already know, but it really seems like one of them's a silly guy and one of them's a serious guy.
Yeah.
And then they split up. But this looks, I don't know, this looks pretty boss. What did you think of this trailer?
The trailer looks great. Like it.
Yeah.
It looks like a Coen Brothers movie.
It does. And the cast. The beauty of a Coen Brothers movie is, of course, like anybody who's hot shit at the time will be in it. So seeing Pedro Pascal doing Coen Brothers is like, God, I want that to the end of the time, you know?
But then also that one guy that's in every Coen Brothers movie. I'm so happy to see him every
Matt
time.
Damon.
Yeah. What is the guy's name? The guy from Fargo who played, like, he's in so much stuff. And he's one of those actors I've just never bothered to look up his name.
I don't know.
Here we go.
You looking him up? This is also, because it's written also, the co-write is nice because it's a lesbian road trip film. That's what it's described as. So it is nice that there's also a woman writing it with him.
Yeah.
That seems, and it's also got I don't know. It's got a bunch of people.
Wow. Confirmed. I have never looked up his name. It is John Carroll Lynch.
Oh, John Carroll Lynch. I know who that is.
Yeah.
John Carroll. He's the Zodiac Killer, right?
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's in like every Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He's great. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him because he's like the last of like the regular looking guys, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's just a guy.
But he still gets so much stuff because he's so good.
He's
such a good actor.
Yeah. And this just looks really goddamn good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very excited for this. The comedy looks really tight. It looks like a Coen Brothers film. Like it looks like, again, it's very clear that what made the Coen Brothers so good is the fact that they're both incredibly talented.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like them separated, it's just like, hey, still incredibly talented. So I don't know. That I wish I had more to say about this other than like fucking watch the trailer. If you like Coen Brothers movies, here's the new one.
Yeah. There's
looks,
not a ton to say about it. It's just, it looks good. It
looks like a delight. Yeah. The dialogue is very, very tight. Good stuff. So finally we can get to this last one because this is where it's at. This is the trailer for The Man from Rome, which is a priest action film. Did I it right?
It looks like it. Yeah. I'm so tired of action movies.
Yeah, but they're priests.
He's just wearing different clothes.
It's his name is Father Quart, according to IMDb. Vatican intelligence officer Father Quart is investigating how the Pope's, I think, has been hacked. Was the Pope hacked in this trailer? I'm surprised the Pope is even online. Yeah.
And I don't know why I bothered Googling if the Vatican intelligence agency is real. Of course it is.
Yep.
Of course.
I don't know, man. This just looks like the kind of dumb that I got to see. My fear with this movie is that it's not dumb enough. Like we watched The Pope's Exorcist, which seemed like it would be a good dumb movie, and it was just kind of like meh, you know. And like this is one where it's like, okay, Vatican action movie, you know, hot cop priest doing action, and it's like you better fucking like I want to see him fucking like, you know. I want to see him like interrogate the Pope, right? Like I want to see it like be this big, like I want to see the Pope shoot someone.
Yeah.
I need it to be like a political thriller, right? Where it's like the president, it goes all the way up to the Pope, and like it's like a lot of intrigue and like I want to see absolute power, but it's the Pope, or something like that. But I'm not sure if that's what we're gonna get here.
Yeah, I brought this up on one of my podcast episodes recently, but any movie that like glorifies the CIA or intelligence agencies of any sort, I'm like, I'm out. That's not what they do. This guy probably like silences fucking sex abuse victims.
Yeah, 100%.
If he exists in real life.
He's not going after hackers, Pope hackers.
No.
Oh yeah, I mean this is like I'm in a tough position with this because I love me some like dad porn. So I love a good Jack Ryan story. I love a good Alex Cross. But it is
Complete
CIA propaganda.
opposite. Yeah.
And I would it's a shame because the new Jack Ryan seasons have been trash. They really fucked up because there's a like a 90s quaintness to it, but like the new Jack Ryan has felt more and more like propaganda in a way that it's just like, it's getting real icky. And again, it was always propaganda, don't get me wrong. But I love like political thrillers, some CIA stuff. A lot of it lately has been like the Citadel, and like there's all these CIA spy thrillers that all are blending together, which is why seeing a Pope spy thriller excites me. But you're not wrong, you know?
Yeah, it's just a thing. I'm so over it. There's so much. It feels like the international version of propaganda.
Yeah,
which
it is.
And I think you're definitely right about Jack Ryan. Like that season, I didn't even watch it, but the fact that there was a season that takes place in Venezuela
where he like helps facilitate a coup, like that
like
was
that is absolute
season.
That is absolute American government CIA propaganda, 100%.
I would argue that's also against what Jack Ryan was supposed to be. That's also part of it. Is Jack Ryan was supposed to be a nerdy analyst. He's not supposed to be going in guns a-blazing, which is what they've done with him. And they're supposed to at least show some of the dirtiness within our government. Although even that tends to be propaganda because it's always the one bad apple thing.
Yes.
Where they're always like, the system's fine. It's just this one senator. He was the bad guy. But he shot himself, so it's fine. Like, that's always how it goes. So, again, it's like, there are spy things that I would say, like, try to point out how shitty it is. But generally speaking, it's all fucking propaganda. Just like how there are cop shows that are trying, to point out systemic issues. I don't know if you've heard of Cop Rock, Adam, but that show surprisingly digs into the systemic issues with police in the 90s.
That was, against all odds, one of my dad's favorite television shows.
It's a good show.
He loved Cop Rock.
It's good.
So fucking much.
It's good. Have you seen any of it?
I have not.
It literally is about, like, the first season, the only season, the whole thing is centered on a trial of a cop who shoots a handcuffed black man. And and it's about, like, all these racists joining him and, like, rallying for him, and it doesn't shy away. It's like The Wire. Like, it's fucking wild that they're doing... They do a lot of shit that's, like, it before its time. Like, this was before, like, the Rodney King stuff, and it seemed to know that shit was coming. I mean, it was the LAPD.
It was the 80s, right?
Cop Rock? Yeah, something like that. It was like late 80s.
Late 80s, yeah.
They point out so many systemic things, and it's like a surprisingly left-wing show. There's a part where, like, one of the cops meets a homeless man, and he's like trying to help this guy, and he does like the bootstraps thing where he's like, why doesn't he just get a nice suit and get a job? So he, like, gives the guy money and stuff, and then realizes that the guy is just, like, mentally incapable of surviving. Right. And they're pointing out that, like, no, this is a systemic issue. This person needs help. He can't just, like, he can't just go get a job. There's so much of that, and it shows, like, every facet. Again, it's like The Wire, but they sing musicals numbers. So
probably why it got canceled so quick.
Yeah,
and I don't mean
probably.
because they sang musical numbers.
No, it's surprising. It's not propaganda. It is not. It's got a little bit in it because it's the 90s, but it's trying to be progressive. So yeah, pop rock.
I'm going to have to watch it.
You will. But for now, we have some more producers to thank, and then we'll get into some news stories. So big old thank you to Deborah. Deborah is awesome. Barbara is great, and cancer can go to hell. Thank you. Thank you to Dracula, the bus-driving vampire. Thank you to Driftless, a.k.a. Gooch Cock. Thank you to E.T., the extravagant terrestrial. Thank you to Evil Ed 209. Thank you to Exploding Runes. Thank you to Funky J Mostly Comes Out at Night, mostly. Thank you to Mr. Tell Your Wife how many Patreon subscriptions you have before you agree to buy a house. Thank you. Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls. Thank you to Hombre, the Mexican-American Ninja says, Mabel, step on me.
Wow.
Whew.
Hey, impossibleworlds.net, read issue 2 and keep sci-fi alive, ! Thank you so much. James Cameron's Prolapse Locomotive. Thank you. Chris Janovich.
Thank you.
I think I said that right without even doing the Chris Janovich? Yeah, I got that without even using their pronunciation. Hey, thank you. Look, Ma, I'm on a podcast. No, you aren't, but thank you anyway.
Thank you.
Mackenzie fuck shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mercurial Oz, thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, the Lurker, thanks. Musical guest Rob Ritchie, but probably not that one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No one can hear you scream in space, McNulty.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Norm from Cheers, thanks.
Thank you. All right. News stories. We can blast through these. Warner Brothers is selling off $500 million in assets, including like a few Batmen and a bunch of music.
Why is this happening?
They're selling off Purple Rain, Adam.
Not just Warner Brothers, but like so many musicians now are like selling off their catalogs all of a sudden.
No one has any money.
Springsteen, Bob Dylan, like so many people.
No one knows how to make money on the internet. We screwed up money,
I guess,
which should be good because no one likes money, but it's not. It's Warner Brothers specifically has been fucking in on a nosedive. Like it's what's his name, Zaslav, who seems to not understand anything about entertainment. They've had people have made like montages of the shit they've been doing. Famously turning HBO to Max for some reason.
Why?
They hate money. It really seems like they hate money. I think they got fucked up by the 2000s. I think what happened is they had them Harry Potters and they had them Pirates of the Caribbean, which I believe is theirs. Oh, well, that's Disney, maybe, actually. But they had them Harry Potters. And they've been still riding that high. There's this idea of like endless growth now. And like they can't accept the idea that, I don't know, but it feels like they're just like very old money people who are completely out of touch with what people actually want. And I think now they're just struggling, I assume, because they're selling off all their shit.
Yeah, they really are struggling. And $500 million, like that's obviously a lot of money, but I wouldn't expect that to be a lot of money for Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
But like if you're selling off your shit, you obviously need that $500 million.
Yeah, exactly. It really does seem like kind of cheap for like Batman and Purple Rain.
Yeah, it's like don't they spend that every week?
Right. I don't know the details of this deal. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like we know who they're selling it to. I think it's just that them saying like, does anybody want this stuff? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, maybe. How do they own Purple Rain? Well, I guess I know Warner Brothers was his label, so I guess they.
Yeah, a lot of this is their music stuff rights? Too. Yeah, like it seems like there's even more like they're selling the music to a lot of stuff. Music to like Sweeney Todd and Rent, and they're selling as time goes by from Casablanca. I don't know, man. It's Zaslav really needs to get. They really need to like get him out of there, right? Like at this point, it really feels like he just hates movies and wants to hurt them.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with them, like pulling movies and then they just show up again. Yeah. Like the fucking that weird house party movie that had been like announced and they were doing commercials for it, and then it was pulled from the schedule and then it just like showed up again. I didn't watch it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
How do you remember the original House Party with Kid and Play?
Yeah. They made a new one?
Yeah, there's a remake that takes place in LeBron James' house. It's very I didn't watch it. It's not for me. I liked the original House Party a lot though.
Yeah, we all love House Party. I don't know. It really feels like the internet has created a system here, right? It's just that like home video sales, they just haven't figured that out, and so now it's just it just seems like these studios, like it's just chaos in the actual offices at this point, where like I'd love to know what all the decision making processes has been, because it's very clear that they're desperate to cut corners, because I assume they've lost a lot of like where they get their revenue, but they're not going to not pay themselves less. And
right.
That seems like what's happening. It relates to this next story, which is about Spider-Verse, which everybody loved. Apparently the artists involved said that was hell. It was not a sustainable system. Much like video games and every animated thing, they were treated like shit. They had to work overtime, all the terrible stuff that we keep hearing about.
I don't know how, like, if you're the people behind a production like this, I don't know how you expect to treat people this way and have it not come out in 2023, which is actually kind of alarming, because I feel like that's just like dice they're willing to roll in the name of getting a movie done faster.
Well, I think, we think about, again, this like weird brand, people being so into brands and stuff, where it's like, I don't think people care. And that's what really bothers me. Like, it happens with video games. Like, a video game will get delayed and everybody will be like, oh, fuck that shit. And it's getting delayed so they don't torture their employees.
Right.
But, like, there's this, like, lack of kind of humanity in fandom now, where it's like they kind of know people don't give a shit. Like, they're not going to give a shit if Spider-Verse tortured a bunch of animators. It's not like people aren't going to see it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's those are just dice they're willing to roll.
Yeah. Also, you haven't seen Spider-Verse, but the fact that the movie does seem fundamentally unfinished, like the movie ends before the third act, basically. And it was written as one film, or was going to be originally one film, and now two-parter. I wonder if this had something to do with it. Like, this is my conspiracy theory, which is that what if they just couldn't finish the movie in time? And they're like, all right, we'll just call it part one. That's my new conspiracy theory, that it was so hard on the animators that they just couldn't finish it. I know that's not how movies work, but...
even though I haven't seen it, that's like the second or third time that I've heard the way it ends is like, it just doesn't really end. It's just like...
It doesn't.
Like stops, more stops in the middle.
Yeah, it stops again at the last... It's definitely not a two-parter. And because a two-parter film has certain characteristics that makes it a two-parter. One being that there's still like arcs within that movie,
Right.
This movie doesn't have that. It just cuts short. And not in a satisfying way. It is weird. It was a bad screenwriting decision. It was, or again, a producing decision, or whoever made the decision. It is very clearly undone. And this is what I mean, where it's like, it feels like it feels like they get to lean on their brand in a way where they can do things like that that are fundamentally bad. That's like, if this was just a script you got and you didn't know what Spider-Man was, you'd go, oh, do this again. Rewrite this and give it an ending, because movies need endings. That's what they need. You shouldn't be allowed to just go, and we'll finish it up in the next movie.
Right.
And like, you shouldn't be allowed to treat employees like shit or demand these things. But like, because they have so much goodwill from fans, they can do these really like weird or toxic things, and that just kind of bothers me. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't necessarily associate that crowd, like the comic book movie crowd, as one that would really care about writers being mistreated or animators being mistreated.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's what the WGA strike. There was people like, oh, you could have AI write an episode of Mandalorian, and it's because like, and this isn't, hashtag not all fans. Not everybody is like this, but there is a toxic fandom that's just like, do the thing. I want you to do the thing. Do the meme. Have them say the line. Like, that's a lot of like comic book, like that new, the Spider-Verse, the live action one was a lot of just like, we're doing the meme and everybody claps. And so like, there's a reason why people look at AI and go like, oh, it's just as good. And it's because they're just used to like things being very derivative lately.
Yeah.
And very much like, dangling keys. Here's the meme. Here's the character you like. We're doing the thing. Where it's like, don't you want like ideas to come from a human brain? And apparently they don't need that as much. And so like, it's a bad sign if the thing you like can be done by an AI and you don't see the difference. That's bad.
It's very bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And that brings. Oh,
no, go ahead. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Oh, it's just good. That brings us to the Secret Invasion credit AI titles that everybody hated. Because that's bad. Animators really need to go on strike very, very soon, and I'm scared for them, because if they don't go on strike soon, then studios might just fucking replace them with AI soon.
Are the Secret Invasion title credits, are they animated?
They're like drawn. They look like AI titles. Like, they look like a bunch of other art from other artists being stolen to be,
but it's
by
not
AI.
like it's not like an AI like Samuel L. Jackson's, like, it's not like a deep fake thing, right?
No, it's like a semi-realistic. You can look it up, like animation style. And they're like, oh, we wanted to do it because it fit with the plot or the story. And it's like, hire animators to do it then.
Yeah.
Like, tell them we want to make it look like an AI, but have animators do it and make those decisions.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of spitting in the face of animators.
Yeah, that I don't like. If it was just a thing where, like, well, we wanted to have the actors in the, like, opening title sequence and they just weren't available, so we put a fucking deep fake version
like
of their
CGI,
face on someone else, that I wouldn't give a shit about. But yeah,
right.
Once it gets into, like, creating art that people could be creating, I don't like that.
Yeah. And it's like, how convenient that your creative decision was also saved you a bunch of money. Like, how many other shows are going to be like, oh, we thought it was a creative decision to do these titles this way.
Yeah.
I also think it's kind of... So this is a hot take. I got a hot take, Adam.
I'm ready. Okay.
Dave. I think it's, again, the way AI, like the idea that if what you're watching can be easily done by a fucking predictive text, maybe there's a creative bankruptcy there. Like if your favorite show can be easily written that way, maybe that's not good. My big hot take is I think that titles lately for TV shows have been generally boring. I think that they've all kind of leaned on Game of Thrones style or like Daredevil, where it's these CGI. And I'm not saying there weren't artists doing these, and I'm not saying they aren't well done. I'm saying that they're all the fucking same lately. Like the Rings of Power one, even The Last of Us. It's these CGI kind of, you're picturing it, right?
Yeah.
Like these CGI sequences that are very much like customized to the show, but still all feel like the same. Where it's like, let's have a bunch of sand make patterns with this music, or we'll have the fungus make patterns, or we'll like, again, it's customized. Daredevil was one of the first where it's like, oh, it's trying to show the way he uses his echolocation or whatever. But they've all kind of leaned on the same CGI titles at this point, it feels like. And it's like, I don't know, give me something new. Do something, do like a Twin Peaks type thing where it's just one shot, or like Stranger Things, which is done practically. That stands out as a title sequence.
If I could suggest a good title sequence on TV right now, the MGM Plus television show From. It's so good, Dave. I cannot stop. The title sequence is just kind of a overhead shot of the town where it all takes place. But the song is a cover of Que Sera Sera by the Pixies.
That sounds fun.
It's really good.
That sounds real fun. See, that's the shit I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, and it's, again, nothing against the artist doing this, because I'm sure they're being asked to do this specific thing. But that's part of the reason why you have to ask yourself, why is it so easy for AI to just shit out Secret Invasion titles? This is why, because we've been doing them all the same lately, too. That's a big part of it. So, I don't know. That's all.
I mean, that's kind of the same thing with the Drake song. That, I don't know if you heard the AI Drake song. But it was really convincing. And it's like, Drake just kind of does the one thing.
Right. It's just like, maybe that's a sign that things have stagnated a little bit when people are like, oh yeah, I can easily make a Mandalorian episode. See, he shoots the people, he goes pew pew. It's like Star Wars. And it's like, I don't know, maybe we should demand something more from our writing if it's that easy, because again, it's not artificial intelligence, it's predictive text. It's very good predictive text, ChatGPT.
And people should have seen it coming, because like K-pop was doing the same thing way before AI. Like, K-pop just kind of recreates black music from the 90s and the 2000s. Like, in a almost like to the point that it's like not really discernible as K-pop. Like, if you listen to a Blackpink song, they have a song called Shut Down that was recommended to me by Apple Music because it sounds exactly like an MIA song. And I was listening to MIA.
Interesting.
It's like, when it came on, I was like, oh, this is an MIA song I've never heard. And like, it stands to reason that computers would be able to do the same thing. Computers are good at stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, that people can, every artists play off of past artists forever, right? That's just always a thing. Tarantino apes a bunch of movies, for better or for worse. Yeah. Personally, I find it like kind of lazy what he does sometimes, but like, it's varying tastes. That's a thing. That's always a thing. Indiana Jones is based off of old serials. Everything is based off everything else. But AI, I think, like really starts like, because like, Tarantino will imitate a movie and then add his own take on it, whereas AI doesn't add its own take, so it's just the derivative stuff, and so like
that's a great point.
Yeah, and it really shows when like they do like, oh, it's the Wes Anderson version of this, and it's like you're just boiling Wes Anderson down to a certain type of shot. You're not really like thinking about, what makes his films what they are, and so on. So it's just a fucking parrot. It's just a Xerox machine. And so like to have AI, like these Secret Invasion titles, who knows what artist it ripped off? Like, does it even know what artist it ripped off, what it pulled from the internet, that you could have just had the artist do this style,
And there is such a difference between just ripping something off and like obviously like paying homage to something but putting your own spin on it. Yeah. We were talking about Oasis on a podcast episode recently, And I kind of feel that way about Oasis. Like, they very notoriously have been sued for plagiarism a bunch. They have a lot of songs that sound like other songs. But at the same time, I would argue no one sounds like Oasis. Even though Oasis might have a song that sounds like a T-Rex song, T-Rex by no means sounds like Oasis. Like, Oasis is a whole different thing. Like, lots of bands rip people off. There's a reason
MIA
Oasis was so
sampled
huge.
The Clash.
Yeah.
It's just a thing they do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just when it's a computer is suddenly doing it for a corporate, for like a producer, like so they can cut corners. It's like, well, there's no creative input in this whatsoever at this point. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
And like Secret Invasion, very bad start for me. Like, that turned me off of this show. I didn't have much interest in it, for the record, but like that was just like, ew, gross, real gross.
Yeah. Agreed.
Instant disinterest. All right. Well, we got some more producers to thank, and then we're going to wrap things up. Yeah, we do. Starting with a big thank you to Pete for Pagel. Thank you.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you to Numino, Ultramicroscopic Silico, Volcanoconiosis, Anti-Disestablishmentarianism, Jones.
Hey, that's me.
That is you. So the big reveal, folks. That is you. I don't think that's officially been said.
It hasn't?
No.
Yeah, I did that to Jeff too, just because that's like the longest word.
To hurt us. You wanted to hurt us.
Yeah. I want you to regret this, Mm-hmm.
Thank you to pre-order TikTok superstar Jason Pargin's new book, Zoe's Too Drunk for This Dystopia. Pre-orders are super important. Thank you. Thank you to Rev MD. Thank you to Ricky Cilantro. Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead. Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid. Thank you to Sorry Cop, world's most laughable centrist. Thank you to Steven. Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head. Thank you to the Midnight Patron with patrons at midnight. Thank you.
Hey, the Oatmeal Savage, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Producer formerly known as the Ghost of Dave Thomas, an old-fashioned thank you to you. The Tubi Terror Bunny demands you enter the ninja with Franco Nero. Thank you so much. These 7 Bs. Only these 7 Bs. Thank you. Not that 8th and 9th B. No. Tiger Drawers Pratt Thompson sings. Raindrops keep falling on my head. Was I supposed to sing that? No, thank you. But thank you. Tip Drizzle. Thanks.
Always.
Tux. Thanks, Tux. Hey, Vincent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't you take a flying fuck at the moon? Thank you so much. Thank your mom. And because Pie Guy liked being last. Was I supposed to snore? I think that was right.
You could snore.
It's
alphabetical, you see. So.
Oh, okay. I see. I see.
Mm-hmm. Adam.
Yes.
Adam, this is the point where if I was Tom, I would ask Dave to cut the shit.
Dave, cut the fucking shit. Are there any movies that deserve more hype?
Oh, there is. There's a movie that deserves more hype, Adam. I got it right here for you. This is called The Breach. This is coming out July 11th. And boy, some weird shit with this one. This is, I guess I'll just start with the fact that it's produced by Slash.
Yeah, once I saw that, I was like, I'm going to watch it.
Yep. Slash also does the score for it. It also features the guitarist for Rush. I assume because Slash called him and was like, you want to be in this movie? It looks like it's about it's a crime scene where these police show up in the woods of Ontario and this body is all fucked up. And I guess in figuring out what's going on, they enter some sort of fucking Cronenbergian Lovecraft hellscape. That's as much sense as I can make. The director is also the founder of the horror magazine Rue Morgue, which is it's from Canada. It's based off a book by Nick Cutter. the reviews are basically saying like it's your very standard horror plot, but it is amazingly shot, very good, well directed, very well acted, and just has some really fucking gnarly effects, practical gore effects, because it's some Lovecraft shit, you know?
Yeah.
They compared it to like movies like From Beyond, which, down with that. What do you think?
Yeah, sign me up. This is extremely my type of shit, especially when a horror movie has like a celebrity name who doesn't do movies attached to it.
Yeah.
I feel like that more often than not works.
Yeah, I love it when that happens. Worst case scenario, you get that movie that Danzig made, and it's like, well, this is fun for a different reason.
Who was the wrestler that was just in a horror movie?
Was it
called The Third Floor or something like that?
CM Punk? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Yeah. The Girl on the Third Floor.
Yes.
Yeah,
that movie fucking ruled. It was really good.
I love it when there's just like random motherfucker, this like stunt casting, you know? It can be really fun.
Because that's probably because that person is a huge horror movie fan, and this is like them living a dream.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be a little bit more passion behind it than usual. And I like that.
Yeah. There's something, I don't know, it's a cool, I don't know, it's a cool aspect of it for sure. And it makes it just generally more surreal, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a horror movie with like Spielberg's daughter in it? I forget what that was. But that seemed like hell to be the director of that movie, because you know Spielberg's watching your movie.
Yeah.
That's got to be real weird. But I don't know, this just looks real solid. The trailer is like pretty damn slow at first, and then it ramps the fuck up near the end, and there's like an Inside Out person. It also just looks like genuinely kind of creepy. It doesn't just look gnarly, you know?
Yeah.
So it
for the record, the horror movie with Steven Spielberg's daughter is Don't Feed the Children.
Oh, I think there's another one too.
Oh, she's directing Don't Feed the Children.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Isn't it called, I think it's called Honeydew? Am I thinking of the right movie?
Yeah. I think I saw Honeydew.
I did not. Oh, it's Spielberg's son, actually. Sorry, it's Sawyer Spielberg.
I just Googled Honeydew thinking that was going to pull up the movie, as if that's not a whole cottage industry of melons before that.
Yeah. I want a melon. God, I love melons.
Not a honeydew, though. Those are gross. Honey don't.
All right. You win. You win just because of that. So yeah, fucking The Breach. The Breach. It's some real like Cronenberg, Lovecraftian, otherworldly shit. People are going to get all fucked up, and Slash does the music. So, you know, what's not to like? Streaming July 11th. Check out the trailer. It's wherever trailers are.
Yeah.
I did my job. And
it looks great.
It does look great. And that is it. That's the episode, Adam.
That is the episode.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here with me. Do you want to plug something again? You can. This is your time.
I'm writing again. AdamToddBrown.substack.com. I started that up and then had to have surgery on my face, so I took 3 months off. But you probably won't notice because my last article in February was about Belle Biv DeVoe, and then my first article back in June was about Belle Biv DeVoe. So it looks like I just have been going this whole time.
You've been going off on.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
Everybody check that out. I'm going to plug our Patreon real quick. Patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. Exclusive podcasts on there. Tom and Jeff watch Batman. Fox Mulder's a Maniac. Star Trek The Next Futurama. Spiel Boys. We watch movies every Friday night with our patrons. That's tonight. This is coming out. Lord knows what we're going to watch. It could be anything. And we have a merch store. If you go to gamefullyunemployed.com, you get a link to that. We got t-shirts and mugs. We're due for a new design. We'll figure that out at some point. So check all that out. And that is the episode.
That is it. Oh, can I plug one more thing?
Yeah.
We have a merch store, youdon'tshow.link/store. And one of the things you can get there, a hard drive with every Unpops Network podcast episode ever.
Holy shit.
Like 100-some gigabytes worth.
What a good idea.
Of back catalog. And it's got the old Unpops logo with my dog in it.
That's amazing.
So youdon'tshow.link/store. There's, I think, like 3 or 4 of them left. We've sold a bunch.
That's so good. I'm you know what? I'm going to try to sell cassettes of our shows. That's what I'll do.
We did that too during our Kickstarter. Me and Jeff
did you?
did cassettes. We put out our comedy album on cassette.
How do you even make a cassette? I don't even know.
We had a listener named Cole Mason help us. He was in a punk band, and
oh, yep,
they did cassettes.
Good for them.
Shout out to Cole Mason.
Shout out to Cole. And so long, everybody. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, CORLEW, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.